What is my date of injury in a repetitive trauma claim? Good afternoon, folks. My name is Jim Aspel, and I'm a board-certified workers' compensation attorney in Farmington, Connecticut. Typically, when you're completing a Form 30C notice of claim for compensation, you're going to have a very good idea when your date of injury was. It's going to be a specific event, either a car accident, a specific day you were lifting a box and you felt a pop in your back, the day you turned a pipe wrench too hard and you felt your shoulder pop. Whatever it happens to be, there's going to be some sort of discrete event, and you're going to know that's the date that you got hurt. That's the date you're going to pick for your Form 30C. Becomes a little bit more complicated if you're alleging a claim for compensation as a result of a repetitive trauma injury. Just by way of refresher, a repetitive trauma injury is a type of workers' compensation claim where you become eligible for benefits because your work required you to do a certain type of work in a particularly repetitive fashion over and over again, and as a result of that repetitive motion, you sustained injury to a body part. Typically, we see that in keyboarding. Sometimes you see it in plumbers or electricians where they're doing overhead work and they're consistently reaching over their heads. But anything where you're doing the same thing over and over again as a function of your job, typically that can set you up for a repetitive trauma claim. So in those instances, you're going to be entitled to workers' compensation for that incident or for that injury. And so what date do we pick for the Form 30C? Well, the date we pick is what they consider the date of last injurious exposure. So to put it another way, that's the date that you're last doing the job that aggravated that particular body part. So if you're a keyboardist, it's going to be the last day that you were doing the keyboarding activity. If you were an electrician doing overhead work, installing light fixtures or something like that, it's going to be the last day that you did that. So in most instances, that's going to continue up until the date you're no longer able to do the job any longer, because what we tend to see is that if you have carpal tunnel, for example, as a result of keyboarding, you're going to keep keyboarding because you want the job. You're going to keep keyboarding up until the day you physically can't do it any longer. And you're going to go see the doctor, and the doctor is going to say, you know what, this isn't working. You have to stop doing this repetitive motion. And at that point, either you're going to stop the job completely, or the job is going to change your duties and they're going to assign you to doing something else. So that day of the last injurious exposure is the date you're going to pick for the date of injury on your workers' compensation Form 30C. It may be your last day at the employer or that job. It may not be. Sometimes, like I say, your job duties can change to accommodate the problems that you're having with the repetitive motion. It all depends. So these repetitive trauma claims, they're fairly straightforward if you know what to look for, but they do have a couple of pitfalls for the unwary. If you have any particular questions about what date you should pick, feel free to give me a call. We're in Farmington. You can call us anytime, 860-523-8783. You can check out our website, www.aspbellaw.com. There's a lot of good information there on repetitive trauma claims, what they are, and that type of thing. We do have a Facebook group, Ask a Connecticut Workers' Compensation Attorney. You're welcome to join that. Hopefully you found this video helpful, and if so, please give it a thumbs up. I'd invite you to subscribe, hitting the subscribe button down below. We do drop these videos on Connecticut workers' compensation topics fairly frequently, and I'd be happy to keep you in the loop. If you have any specific questions you want us to address in the videos, feel free to DM us at any time, and we're always happy to answer your questions. Hope you have a good afternoon, and thanks.